Where Hollywood hides, here's Bob and Suzanne.
Chicken joke!
I'm Mrs. Cleaver.
From Television City in Hollywood.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
We're on a mission from God.
Run, Forrest, run!
We can rebuild him. We have the technology.
You had me at hello.
Nanu.
Baby, you're the great.
I'm not going to be ignored.
Here comes the judge.
Go ahead. Make my day.
I got nowhere else to go.
Small cowbell.
That fashion.
There's anything wrong with that. You can't handle the truth.
I'm not an actor. I'm a movie star.
That's the story of my life. No respect. I don't get no respect at all. I'm the dude.
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
And now for something completely different.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.
Welcome to Where Hollywood Hides. This is podcast episode number 64. My name is Bob McCullough.
And my name is Suzanne Herrera McCullough.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hello.
We have a terrific interview today.
We are interviewing Ruta Lee and her book, love this title, Consider Your Ass Kissed.
It's the second time we've spoken with Ruta. We spoke with her exactly a year ago when she was writing the book, and today we're going to talk about it. Before we get started, though, I want to talk about my book, one of my books, called Money for Your Movie Guaranteed. I co-wrote this with Mark Stauffer, who is an award-winning Directors Guild of America member. He's made multiple feature films, and he has the secret to raising money to make your film.
A very impressive guy.
The name of the book is Money for Your Movie Guaranteed. It's available on Amazon. And if you're a filmmaker looking for some financing to shoot your film, from $5,000 to $25 million, Money for Your Movie Guaranteed has the answers for you. You know, before we get started with Ruta Lee, I just want to let everybody know that Suzanne has a new screenplay competition online, the Santa Barbara International Screenplay Awards, which really pays tribute to our hometown.
Our beautiful hometown.
Santa Barbara, as a matter of fact, was the original birthplace of the West Coast film industry.
I don't think too many people know that.
No, motion pictures really began in Chicago with Thomas Edison, and when they came west for the weather and the kind of location choices they had in California, the first studio, the Flying A studio, was here in Santa Barbara. Only later did Hollywood actually happen. So in kind of paying respect to that history, the Santa Barbara International Screenplay Awards is looking for the very best in new writers.
And because Bob and I have been in the business for so long, we would love to help new writers. There's always an aspiring writer in every family.
Absolutely. And today's exploding universe of channels of distribution really should be encouraging to writers and filmmakers everywhere. So just go to SantaBarbaraScreenplayAwards.com and check out the Santa Barbara International Screenplay Awards, where opportunity awaits. So,
here's Ruta.
Bob and Suzanne, I'm delighted to be with you and with your listeners. And, well, may God keep smiling on us. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. Ruta, we spoke exactly a year ago at this time, and you said, you know, I have this book I'm writing.
And wow, what a book. I have to say, I want to say hello, my friend, because after reading the book, I feel like I know you.
You know, that is the kindest and most wonderful thing I could hope to hear from you, Suzanne.
Well,
Thank
I have to say to our viewers, I personally, if I want to read a book for my leisure and pleasure, I love biographies, autobiographies. So when I picked your book up, I was looking forward to it, but I have to tell the viewers, I have never, ever read a book with so much information. It is unbelievable. So my first question for you is, how in the hell do you remember all this stuff? Do you keep a diary? Do you keep a diary?
I do not, and I wish I had. And what's more, I don't keep the wonderful little letters and notes and memos and things that I've gotten from very famous people, and I feel like such an idiot. But then you're young and stupid, and you think, oh, this is going to happen all the time, and oh, I don't need this, I'll throw it out. And boy, do I regret that. But you know, the hard part, Suzanne, is not the writing of the book, but the editing of the book.
Sure.
What are you going to keep in? What are you throwing out? You don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. And on the other hand, you don't want to give too information. Then now that I'm reading it again and again, I say to myself, oh, my God, why didn't I talk about that? I forgot to mention that. Oh, next time, one of these things.
Well, it's going to have to be a 1,000-page book because I don't know how much more information. Anyway, I can't speak for Bob, but it was, I think, the most enjoyable read I have ever had.
I can't tell you how grateful I am. I was so concerned in putting this book together that my voice be heard without being on audio or tape, I wanted my voice, and clearly you've done my heart good by telling me that it was like sitting down and talking with me, and
Absolutely.
I appreciate that so much.
Well, and I really do want to say, Suzanne is not one to give casual flattery, and neither am I. We've been around the business for many, many years.
Too long.
and we've known a lot of people, a lot of very famous people. And in 282 pages, your book packs in literally almost the history of 20th century Hollywood. Just incredible. 282 pages, and every one of them is packed with just amazing stuff. So
You know what else it's packed with, Bob? This first edition of the print has so many errors in it. But then I figure, I at first I was suicidal. I said, my God, people are going to think I'm illiterate, the way it's been put together, and mistakes and misspellings and whatever. But I guess it happens in all books. And now that I'm reading with a different kind of eye, I realize there are mistakes in other books.
Absolutely.
And we don't go bonkers. So
you can
to hell with it.
You can read a best-selling novel, and it's full of typographical errors and misplaced commas and stuff. But your book just reads very conversationally. It's almost like we're sitting having a cup of coffee, and you're telling us so much. And I gotta say, you really don't pull any punches, do you?
Well, I didn't blab too much, did I?
Well, I don't know.
Wait a minute, Bob, I have to say, I found the book. You say so many wonderful things about everyone, and that's what I like about the book. But then you also give us an insight to the personalities. I don't think it's a real negative thing. That's why I love reading the book, because it was like talking with you, and I didn't find the book negative at all.
Well, I was very upset to learn that Lucille Ball didn't have enough food in her refrigerator. And also,
I'm waiting for little Lucy.
That's right.
Lucy Arnaz to read that and call me and start screaming at me.
and then you comment on one of my all-time favorites, just because I'm a guy in love with beautiful women. You talk about Lauren Bacall very briefly, and you say, "Let's dish." And I just...
Yes. Well, I have to tell you, when I first met her, and it was so difficult getting her to start with.
Sure.
And as I write in the book, she wouldn't fly first class on American Airlines. No, she had to fly on, what the hell was it called? MGM. And that was an airline that lasted all of 1 year, I think. But it was very fancy and very expensive. And, of course, that was money out of the charity's pockets. And then, of course, it wasn't just her. She had to bring her hairdresser with her. And all I could think of was ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Sure.
The cash register is ringing, And then, of course, she wouldn't stay at the hotel where the event was, where we had the presidential suite. No, she had to be at the Bel Air Hotel. And her hairdresser had to be at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And I was so angry with her. And then to find out that she kind of literally shook when it was time for her to get up and get her award, I couldn't help but smile and say, "Oh, good."
It's fun, it's funny. People are just people, aren't they? I mean, she was a mess.
They are, and of course, I kind of apologize in a way that I talk about it, because I later read her book, and I know that life wasn't all the easiest thing in the world, and I can imagine that whole courtship and engagement to Frank Sinatra must have been very, very painful.
Sure.
Because Frank knows how to turn you off like a tap.
Sure.
It's just amazing.
Sure. Well, you mentioned her book, which I've read. It's really boring compared to yours, and I don't mean to continue to praise your book, but it really we read a lot of these books, and a lot of them are hard to get through. Frankly, yours was just fun.
I've just been reading Regis Philbin's book.
Oh, we haven't read that yet.
Was a longtime friend, but I thought maybe it's because I'm not into sports the way most men and some women are. But I found that there were chapters that I kind of ho-hummed through, in spite of the fact that he's, a dear friend for many years, and I worked with him for a long time. But that's the way it is.
I think part of it is people take themselves very seriously at times, and
maybe.
And you never have. You just continue living life, You mentioned your charity work, and for our listeners who have not heard the prior podcast, which we did together exactly a year ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago.
Tell us a little bit about the Thalians and where it's at now. And
wow, that's one of my favorite subjects. And my darling husband, who now has gone on to meet his maker, used to say, Ruta, if you spent 10% of the time on your career that you do working on the Thalians, you could have told Barbra Streisand to jump off the world.
That's right.
And in some ways he's right, because I have taken the responsibility of paying back to God, to the powers that be, to the universe, either paying back or paying forward the blessings that have come my way. And I think that it's kind of a credo that we should all live by. Don't wait to be asked to do something. Jump in and do it. Something has to be done. You can help somebody somewhere in this world. And the Thalians was put together by a group of, and when I say Thalians, it's Thalanis, Thalians.org. Please, anybody that's interested, tune in and you'll see what we do. There'll be a message from my beloved Debbie Reynolds and myself, and you'll see the stars involved with us. But it was founded in 1955. I was not one of the founding members. By Debbie Reynolds and Hugh O'Brien and George Schlatter and a lot of wonderful Hollywood people and a lot of people in allied fields, agents, writers, producers, that sort of thing. Young people who got tired of being called hard-drinking, sex-minded, pot-smoking idiots that contributed nothing to society. And they said, we get together, we hang around the piano, we sing, we have drinks, we laugh. Let's put something together, sell tickets, and make a few dollars for a charity. Hey, great idea. So they sent out Mamie Van Dorn and Jane Mansfield. Now, you want to talk about bosom size.
Wow.
Holy mackerel.
A lot of power there.
These two tomatoes to find a good charity, and they came back to the next meeting and in typical blonde fashion said, well, all the good diseases have been taken. And so they found, however, this lovely doctor who was dealing with emotionally disturbed children, which he described as a rotting apple in a barrel. You've got to take that rotten apple out and cut away the bad part. Otherwise, it's going to infect the entire barrel or the entire community in this case. So we took that on, and we dealt with emotionally disturbed children. And 18 years later, when I say we, I mean we and a plethora of Hollywood stars that supported the idea, and we honored a star every year, and big stars would come to participate in the chorus or do a skit or sing or dance or do whatever it took to honor that star and raise money for the Thalians. And 18 years after the founding, we built our clinic, which was the first building that went in at Cedars-Sinai, the big complex in L.A., and it was the Thalians Community Mental Health Center.
That was quite an accomplishment.
Quite an accomplishment for all these dumb, silly actors and the people that gave a damn. And we raised enough money to do this. And then we were dealing with pediatric through geriatric care. Then some 55, 60 years later, very successful years where we had people come and fill seats and fill our coffers with big money. We raised millions and millions of dollars for mental health. And we were shining a wonderful Hollywood Klieg spotlight on that dark hole that was known as mental illness. That was the hidden disease,
Yeah.
Nobody in the family wanted to talk about it.
That's right. People not only didn't want to talk about it, most people, if they didn't have that in their family, didn't even think about it.
That's right. That's right. And so we raised millions of dollars, and then we discovered that we were missing something. And we switched our focus, that spotlight focus, onto the plight of the returning veterans. Those beautiful young men and women who are willing to put their lives on the line for us wherever we send them in the world, and then come back home and sometimes fall through the cracks instead of being given the best that America has to offer in the way of health and mental health treatment. And so we joined up with UCLA's Operation Mend. They take care of the broken and fractured bodies of these beautiful young people, and we take care, or try to, of the broken mind and spirit of these beautiful young people. And, I would like to say it's a thankless job, but it isn't thankless, because it's just amazing how many people will walk up to me in a restaurant or a coffee shop or at Costco and say, "You have no idea of what your help has meant to my family."
I'm sure.
You have no idea. And that's the blessing from the Almighty. That's the pat on the shoulder saying, "Good job, well done, kids."
So, Ruta, this is a question I would normally ask at the end of the podcast, but since we're talking about the Thalians, you have accomplished so much. And before we get into your book a bit, would you consider the Thalians your biggest accomplishment? I mean, asking that question of somebody like yourself, I mean, you have so many credits. Would you consider that one of your biggest accomplishments?
Absolutely. It's something that I am the most proud of. It's something that helps me rest well at night, knowing that I have tried to do something for somebody. We have helped hundreds of thousands of people whose names we will never know, but whose loving thoughts and prayers we're in. And all I can do is say that's quite a blessing in itself, so it's great. I think my other favorite accomplishment, now that you've asked, that's a very interesting question, Suzanne, would be calling Khrushchev and getting my grandmother.
Oh, that's a great story.
I love that story.
That is a great story.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Please tell our listeners that story, because it's unbelievable.
It is worth repeating.
I'm not going to tell the whole story. I want our listeners to go buy my book. It's not expensive.
Okay.
All right.
That'll work too.
In fact, I want your listeners to go out and buy 200 or 300 books. Give them away as gifts. Make me look good, for God's sake.
We do too, because your book really is a story about the power of love, and you talk about the value of attitude in your book.
Yes, I do, and I think that I learned something on that adventure, and that is, don't take no for an answer. And if you're in the fundraising business, which is what I'm in, and not for myself, but for the love of God, the love of my country, and the love of humanity and God's children, I find that if you take no for an answer, you'll never get anywhere. You have to keep digging. I mean, let's face it, I had to find celebrities every year who were reticent about becoming our honoree because they felt that they would then be obliged to ask their business partners and their friends and their cleaner and their baker for money for the charity. And of course, we didn't do that. We just said, come and show up and it'll be great. But you really had to kind of sometimes plead and cajole. I think I write in the book that it took me 20 damn years to get Clint Eastwood as my honoree.
Oh, really?
Oh, I was so furious with him, but I love him so dearly. But I called him one day and I said, Clint, for God's sake, I've got a birthday coming up. May 30th is my birthday. I want you to do me a favor and give me a birthday present. Tell me that you will be our honoree this year for the Thalians. And he said, well, I'll tell you what. My birthday is the 31st of May. You give me a present and tell me I don't have to show up.
Oh, my God.
But he did show up, and he was the greatest, most gracious, graceful, honored host. Oh, he was just fabulous. But it proves a point that if I had given up and waited for 21, God only knows, with COVID and everything else, what would have happened.
Well, if you didn't have that indomitable spirit, you would have given up when you were an usher at Grauman's. Tell us about that transition.
Oh, that's a wonderful, the blessings that have come my way from guardian angels, God. You can call God luck if you want. I think he runs the show.
Oh, I like that.
And to think that when I got fired from Grauman's Chinese because I was very bad in math and I had to substitute for the box office cashier who got sick, and I, who couldn't add 5 and 5 without a computer, was asked to sell tickets at $1.98 and $2.95 and whatever they were. And the manager said, all you do is punch in 2 tickets at $1.98, punch in the $5 or $10 that they give you, and you'll get the right change. So I blamed the machine for giving away $40 that we were short that night. And I got fired. And in tears, I said, I'll be back one day, and my hand and footprints will be here, and you'll be sorry I didn't steal that money. I'm just bad in math. And son of a gun, where is my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? But right in front of the frigging box office.
Love the story.
Isn't that marvelous?
That is true justice. That is true justice.
That is true heaven. But it's a delight because I have a star in front of Grauman's Chinese, which is very prestigious. And I have one. And Alex Trebek, of course, who wrote the foreword, as you'll see in the book, said when he spoke at my star, when I got it on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, he said, it's all a matter of location. Here's Ruta in front of the famous Grauman's Chinese with all the major stars, and I'm down 3 miles down the other end of Hollywood in front of an all-night porno shop with drunks lying on my star. And he said, it's location.
Okay, that's right.
Just so our listeners understand the impact you've had really on the industry for so long, I have in my hand 8 pages of your television show credits. And we're talking about things like Alfred Hitchcock Presents, I Led 3 Lives. Excuse me if I just go on for a second.
Yes.
Dragnet, Highway Patrol, Suspicion, Maverick, Playhouse 90, Mike Hammer, Gun. These are the things that have really made our culture over the last 50 years. Perry Mason, Peter Gunn, The Millionaire, one of my favorites, Bat Masterson, Alcoa Theater, Tightrope, Whirlybirds, The Man from Black Hawk, Colt 45, Wagon Train. I'm running out of breath here. Zane Grey Theater, Andy Griffith Show, Rawhide, Dick Powell Show, Cheyenne, The Outlaws, Laramie.
And these are just TV shows.
And I'm seriously, The Fugitive, Ironside, Hogan's Heroes, Mannix. I worked on that show myself. Bonanza.
Did you?
Yeah, a long time ago. I was a gopher trying to break in. The Guns of Will Sonnet, The Flying Nun, Mork and Mindy, Three's Company. It just goes on and on and on. Which of those shows do you think should be back on the air today?
Oh, well, it's Twilight Zone for one. And I adored the Westerns. I tell you, I learned a lot doing the Westerns. I learned how to get on and off a horse because the horses were always tall and I'm short. And I learned a great deal about respecting people in the industry because there are so many people, especially it seemed to me on the Westerns, people that had been very big in silent movies and maybe the early talkies that were now extras and stuff on the set. And to respect everybody. You don't have to love everybody. You don't have to like everybody, but just respect them as a human being, if nothing else. And I also learned to respect and handle guns, which I love to this day, and learned to shoot, all taught to me by the Wranglers and the cowboys at the studios. So it was, besides a good work experience, it was a great learning experience, learning a lot of moral values that kind of were lost when some of the West was inhabited by too many city folk, and we lost some of the country ways.
Now, you say you had difficulty. You learned how to mount a horse. You were you're very athletic as a youngster. As a matter of fact, you broke in the business as a dancer, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did. And as I write in the book, I don't know whether it was my good dancing at the audition for Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, or my mother in the church across the street praying on her knees and lighting candles, but one of the two or both got me the job.
Oh, I think
which was,
both.
Of course,
both.
the most important thing in my life,
And then you went from a dancing career, really, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers is mostly dancing and singing. And then you were in one of my very favorite movies of all time, Witness for the Prosecution. Completely different.
Yes. That was a nice change, and it was interesting because of the bizarre and wonderful surprise ending in which I was involved. They really couldn't carry on and talk about me very much. The PR that would normally go to me because I was young and the little hotsy-totsy in town, I would be doing all the PR stuff around the country, but that would give away the ending, and so I wasn't used very much. But what a joy to work with darling, Tyrone Power, and Marlene Dietrich, the icy queen, I called her. She wasn't very partial to young girls.
Now that was one of the few times you've ever shown up on screen as a brunette.
Yes, and I sort of stayed a brunette for a little while. I did the Audie Murphy movie as a brunette. I think that came right around that time, and so I just sort of stayed dark for a little bit.
In your book, there's so many photographs of you with other blondes. You guys really light up the page. Yeah. My God, you and the Gabors and
and
Debbie
Debbie and Jane Mansfield.
I tell some very funny stories, I think, about my darling Eva Gabor. It just broke my heart when she died because she had become a very nice, close friend.
And what a compliment her mother gave you. She thought you looked like them.
Ruta, darling, you look one of my daughters. I adopt you, Ruta, darling.
I'm telling you because from what I've read, they were very much into themselves, and they thought they were the best looking, and for their mother to think that you were like them was a very big compliment.
This mother did the right thing. She brought them up to be graceful and gracious and beautiful, and I salute Jolie Gabor. I keep thinking about the Kardashians.
Yes.
And that Kris, right, the mother?
Right.
She took these lard-assed, not very talented ladies and made huge international stars out of them. Now, what kind of magic was she performing? I'm astounded by that. And I salute
you and me
her
both.
And say, bravo.
You and me both.
Only in Hollywood, Ruta.
I think so. Only in Hollywood. But boy,
beautiful.
Oh boy, did it work.
Beautiful. Well, I'm sure our listeners are getting a flavor for who Ruta Lee is and what this book is like. The name of the book is Consider Your Ass Kissed. It's released by Britain Publishing. It came out April 20th, and it's actually available on Amazon.
I'm happy to say that I was number 2 on the new releases on Amazon, which is pretty exciting for a newbie,
Oh, yeah.
And you know who was number 1, and she happens to be a very good friend of mine, is Linda Hope.
Oh,
Bob
really?
Hope's daughter. Oh. And so I don't mind. That's okay.
Well, your book is number 1 in dancer biographies, so be proud of that.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, Amazon has so many different rankings in certain categories, and in the category of dance biographies, you are sitting there at the top.
Yeah.
Absolute top.
It's also available at Barnes & Noble. But then, of course, I like everybody to go to their local bookshop.
Sure, the little
and keep
shops.
Those people alive.
Yeah.
Help everybody in our business. Help the little guys.
So one of the things you spoke about, which is dear to my heart, are your dogs, your animals. Because we are animal lovers ourselves, and I don't think I've read too many biographies where they talk so much about their dogs.
Well, I've had dogs. I didn't have dogs as a child. I had one or two actually, and when one ran away and went back to its owner, my mother thought I was going to perish, because I just didn't stop crying for a month. And then when my other little puppy died, I really was desolate. So I didn't have dogs then. And that my folks knew that we'd be moving, and so they couldn't deal with bringing animals to California from Montreal. But when I earned a few dollars, I bought myself a darling little white poodle, which is what every girl dreams of.
Of course.
And called him Yo-Yo because he looked like one. He looked like a little yo-yo on the end of his leash, and he bounced up and down. And he was wonderful. And since then, I've had continual dogs. And the unfortunate thing is that dogs don't get to live long lives like we people do.
I know, it's sad, isn't it?
It is sad because they're your best friend and then they're gone. And if you get 10, 15 great years out of a dog, you're very, very lucky.
That's right.
And I've had Great Danes. I've had German Shepherds. Now I have little dogs. I have 4.
Wow.
As we speak, one of them is sitting in my lap. She is a Yorkie Chihuahua mix.
Oh, boy.
So I don't know whether to call her a Chorkie or a Yorkie Wawa.
Well, she's very quiet.
She's very quiet until she barks.
Right.
She's a great watchdog, and if a leaf falls, she'll let you know.
Ruta, I know your time is limited. I want to be respectful of that. One of the things our listeners really appreciate is hearing from professionals like yourselves. What advice do you give to a young girl who can dance and sing and act, and she's trying to break into the business today?
Well, I tell everyone, get every piece of information and knowledge and experience and training that you can get in the field you're in. If you're a singer, learn to be absolutely fabulous and proficient and work under any circumstances. The same for a dancer, the same for an actor, the same for a musician. I don't care what you do. Get all the training that you can. Along with that, get all the education that you can so that you can get a meaningful job to sustain yourself while you are trying to accomplish something in your field of endeavor. And if it's in the field of show business, be prepared so that when that lucky ring comes your way, that you are not going, oh my God, what do? I don't know how to do this. That you are prepared to step in and do it, but also please be prepared to feed yourself so that you're not dependent on your family or somebody else to feed you and pay for your bloody lessons while you're reaching for the stars.
Great advice.
And that's the soundest advice I can give anybody.
Well, that's wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. Well, once again, the name of the book is Consider Your Ass Kissed.
I love that title, by the way.
And I can only...
Well, you know, Suzanne, that is something that our darling friend George Pinocchio, who is, you probably know, the red carpet man for ABC television. He's the Hollywood reporter for ABC television. And years ago, it's an expression that I have used when I am sincerely grateful for something wonderful that has happened either to me or for, above all, my Thalians. Whether it was $5 or whether it was $500,000, I would say to whoever was good to me, please consider your ass kissed. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart to you, Bob, and you, my darling girlfriend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Consider your ass kissed for sharing your audience with me.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Ruta, you be good, be well, and consider your ass kissed.
Well, let's talk a little sooner than a year the next time.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? And if you're coming in my direction, please, you've got my phone number. Call. I'll buy you a glass or 10 of wine.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for doing this.
An honor speaking with you, Ruta.
So much.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless your listeners. God bless America.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
God, I just love her.
What energy. Unbelievable. I want to know what she's eating.
How about memory?
Yeah. Is she drinking something special?
No,
maybe it's those 10 glasses of wine she referenced, right?
Oh, I think she has been like this since she was a little girl. When you read her book, you'll realize this is one special woman.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. So don't forget her book.
Called Considered Your Ass Kissed.
Terrific book. We read it from cover to cover literally in a day and a half. It's just so much fun.
And so many great pictures. A lot of these books, you know, they have limited pictures, but she has so many pictures in this book, and it's all of the famous people.
And they're all in full color. It's a great book, before we go, I just want to remind everybody, if you're interested in making your own movie, but you need the money for your movie guaranteed, the book by Mark Stauffer and myself, available on Amazon, Money for Your Movie Guaranteed, will show you how to raise money from $5,000 to $25 million guaranteed. And before we go, I want to remind everybody once again, Santa Barbara International Screenplay Awards at santabarbara.screenplayawards.com is our brand new screenplay competition.
We're so excited about this.
Which kind of pays tribute to Santa Barbara. And the whole objective of this is to find new writers and get their careers going.
We want to help you.
So until next time,
we'll see you at the movies.
She does.